What is going on, Bear Country? My name is Ian Miller, and this is DBSN Overtime. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of DBSN Overtime, where we bring you all the latest news in non-Berlin sports. First up this week, let's send it to Ishan with an update in the NFL.
Thanks, Ian. We had an incredible last weekend in pro football. Let's look at some of the major games. First of all, let's start with the Vikings defeating the Browns 21-17. This was Dylan Gabriel's first start, and in this London game, Carson Wentz led the Vikings to a late victory. Now, onto the 1 o'clock slate. The Broncos defeated the Eagles 21-17. This was the Eagles' first loss, as they're now 4-1, and the Broncos trailed 3-17 in the fourth quarter before making a comeback. The Bucs defeated the Seahawks 30-35 after a game-winning 39-yard field goal by Chase McLaughlin, set up by a late Sam Darnold interception with less than 2 minutes left. Baker Mayfield impressed as he went 29 for 33 with 375 yards and 2 touchdowns. Next up, the Lions defeated the Bengals 37-24. And as a result of this game, on October 7th, the Bengals traded for a 6th-round pick for Joe Flacco. Jake Browning struggled with 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and as a result, Jamar Chase had to play both ways as he had 3 tackles. The Commanders defeated the Chargers 27-10 on Jaden Daniels' first game back. The Commanders had 27 unanswered points to put this game away, and Bill Krasky-Merritt, a 7th-round draft pick, had 2 rushing touchdowns. The Patriots gave the Bills their first loss of the year as they won 23-20. The Patriots are now 3-2 as Stephon Diggs had 10 catches for 146 yards. Andy Borregales with the 52-yard game winner with 15 seconds left put the Pats on top. And on Monday, the Jags defeated the Chiefs 31-28 as the Jags battled the refs, but they put it out through a 99-yard Devin Lloyd pick 6 and a Trevor Lawrence go-ahead rushing touchdown with 23 seconds left, even though they trailed Steelers to 14 earlier. The Steelers were on bye. Now let's look to this week's slate. In London, the 3-2 Broncos will look to defeat the 0-5 Jets, who have struggled. The 3-2 Seattle Seahawks will be at Jacksonville at 1 p.m. to face the Jaguars. Sam Darnold has impressed this year with 9 touchdowns thrown, but Jacksonville has had an incredible defense with 14 turnovers forced. The 1-4 Browns will face their 3-1 rival Steelers, as Dylan Gabriel will have his second start at quarterback. The 2-3 Bengals will face the 2-1-1 Packers. We don't yet know about the Bengals' offense, as they have sputtered, and their battered O-line will have to face Micah Parsons. The 4-1 Buccaneers will face the 4-1 49ers at 4:25. Every Tampa Bay win so far has been a one-possession game. Baker has had 10 touchdowns, and Emeka Egbuka has caught 5 of those touchdowns. We don't know who the 49ers quarterback will be, as they've faced recent injuries, but what we do know is that Mac Jones has won 3 starts. And on Sunday night, the 4-1 Lions will face the 2-3 Chiefs, which will be a big matchup. All right, let's send it back to Ian.
Great stuff, Ishan, and thanks for that update. The NHL season kicked off on Wednesday, and Alex Stargats has the latest.
The NHL is officially back, with the regular season kicking off Tuesday with a triple header. It's been a long and crazy offseason, so let's go over some recent news in the NHL world. Last week, Kirill Kaprizov signed the largest contract in NHL history, 8 years, $136 million. Kaprizov has scored 386 points across 5 seasons with the Minnesota Wild. Connor McDavid inked a 2-year, $25 million extension with the Edmonton Oilers. The 5-time Art Ross Trophy recipient has made it to back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals, but lost to the Florida Panthers both times. Speaking of the Florida Panthers, they've been hit with the injury bug before they even start their title defense. Captain Alexander Barkov will miss the entire regular season after tearing an ACL in practice. All-star and recent NHL 26 cover athlete Matthew Tkachuk will miss considerable time. Tkachuk missed time last year after getting injured in the Four Nations face-off and had surgery this offseason to fix a torn abductor. The 5 players found not guilty of sexual assault have been reinstated into the league and can return on December 1st. Dylan Dubé, Alex Fermenton, Carter Hart, Cal Foote, and Michael McLeod were members of the Team Canada World Junior team that captured gold in 2018. All were on NHL rosters before being named in a sexual assault report from Hockey Canada. The Dallas Stars veteran Jamie Benn suffered a collapsed lung in a preseason game and will require surgery. He is expected to miss 4 weeks. In a radio interview with CJCL-AM, NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman said he is not actively pursuing expansion. Many cities have expressed interest in becoming the 34th team, like Quebec City, Atlanta, and Houston. Now, let's go over some of the games of the week. Alexander Ovechkin and the Capitals returned to Long Island to face the Islanders for the first time since Ovi broke the all-time goal record. The game will also feature the much-anticipated debut of Islanders' first overall pick, Matthew Schaefer. Dallas and Colorado will face off in a first-round rematch from last year's Stanley Cup playoffs. Dallas defeated Colorado in 7 games after overcoming a 2-goal deficit in the third period of Game 7. Former Av Mikko Rantanen also looks to dominate his former team. Finally, a Monday matinee will take place between 2 Atlantic Division rivals, the Tampa Bay Lightning and Boston Bruins. The Bruins had plenty of turnover since last season, losing Brad Marchand and head coach Joe Sacco. That's all the hockey we have for you folks, and remember, keep your stick on the ice.
Thanks, Alex. UFC 320 took place over the weekend in Las Vegas. Now let's check in with John, who has the latest update.
The Las Vegas UFC 320 show over the weekend featured some incredible action and massive headlines during the main card. The night started with middleweight Joe Pyfer going head-to-head against Abis Magomedov. Pyfer showed off his submission skills, securing a submission in round 2 to win the fight, a perfect start to the evening. Then featherweight Yusuf Zalal faced veteran Josh Emmett. Zalal didn't mess around. He caught Emmett in an armbar midway through the first round for a quick-fire submission victory. An explosive light heavyweight fight followed between Yuri and Khalil. After round 2, Yuri tuned up a top-notch in the third, landing some good shots that dropped Roundtree for a dramatic TKO victory. In the co-main event, bantamweight champion Merab defended his title against Corey Sandhagen. Merab dominated start to finish with consistent takedowns and pressure, and won by unanimous decision to defend his belt. And the headliner on Friday evening, a light heavyweight title fight, Alex Pereira battled Magomedov Ankalaev. Pereira wasted no time, knocking Ankalaev out with a huge right hand to secure the victory just short of a minute into the first round. With that, Pereira spectacularly regained the light heavyweight championship. It was a night of submissions, knockdowns, and top-notch performances. Definitely one for the books.
Thank you, John, for that UFC update. Next up in this week's slate is the MLB as the race to the World Series continues. Let's send it over to Dylan.
Thanks, Ian. The MLB playoffs is progressing quickly. The first round, the wild card round, is complete, where the Cubs defeated the Padres 2-1. The Yankees defeated the Red Sox also 2-1, and so did the Tigers. They defeated the Guardians 2-1. The only sweep in the wild card round was the Los Angeles Dodgers over the Reds, where they won 2-0. Now, Wednesday, October 8th was the last day that we'll have 4 MLB games in one day. With that being said, there will be baseball played every day from Sunday the 12th all the way to Tuesday the 21st. The Cubs face the Brewers in the NLDS, where they're tied 2-2. Looking for hope, the Cubs and Brewers headed back to Wrigley Field for the series. Milwaukee does look unstoppable, though, where their offense is on fire. But the Cubs are still fighting. They kept their heads up with a 3-run home run in the first inning of Game 4 off of the ace, Freddie Peralta. They decided the victory, and now they will play Game 5 in Milwaukee on Saturday. The Yankees faced the Blue Jays, where they did end up losing 3-1. The Yankees came storming back in the Bronx after going down 2-0, but there wasn't enough in Game 4, where the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen game overpowered them. The Blue Jays offense came out hot. They scored a combined 23 runs between their first 2 games in Toronto, and the Blue Jays look like the best team in baseball. Their bullpen game was a success, and now they're looking forward to the American League Championship Series, which is their first since 2016. The Tigers are facing the Mariners, where they are tied 2-2, also going to Game 5. The series has been even throughout games. Skubal will get the bump on Game 5. The Mariners defeated Skubal in Game 2 off of 2 Jorge Polanco solo shots. The pitching matchup between the deciding Game 5 in Seattle is between Tarek Skubal and George Kirby. It will happen tonight at 8 p.m. The Dodgers faced the Phillies, where they won 3-1. The Dodgers dominated the first 2 games in Philadelphia, where they looked as a complete team, and the Phillies offense had many struggles throughout the first 2 games, but they did end up picking it up in an 8-1 victory in the third game. The Dodgers, although, did get a key victory in Game 2 off of a great defensive wheel route play by Max Muncy and Mookie Betts, which did change the landscape of the game and the series. Last night, the Dodgers won on a walk-off error by Orion Kikuring. Broken bat play up to the pitcher, Kikuring made the split decision to throw home with the bases loaded and 2 outs, overthrowing the catcher. The winner of the Tigers and Mariners will face the Toronto Blue Jays with Game 1 beginning on Toronto on Sunday, October 12, 2025. The winner of the Cubs and the Brewers in Game 5 will face the Los Angeles Dodgers with the start of the series beginning Monday, October 13, 2025. Aaron Judge has been the stat leader this postseason. He's the best player overall currently. Even though the Yankees are no longer in the postseason, he's certainly changed his own narrative in the postseason. Shohei Ohtani, on the other hand, has looked terrible at the plate. He is currently 4 for 23 with 10 strikeouts throughout the wild card and the division series. If the Dodgers want to start hitting at the plate, it starts with Ohtani. That's all we have for MLB. Now, let's send it back to Ian at the desk.
Excellent, Dylan, and thank you for that update. Up next, let's head over to Tyson and Jack, who have our latest update in college football.
Welcome to DBSN Overtime. I'm Jack Carter.
And I'm Tyson Mount with your college football segment. And Jack, we have a lot of big upsets this week.
That's right, Tyson. Number 7 Penn State lost to a winless UCLA team that has not led the whole year. UCLA led 27-7 at halftime, but a second-half rally from Penn State was not enough as the Bruins took down a top 10 team for the first time in 15 years.
Surprising win for sure. And now let's head over to Columbus, Ohio to talk about a blowout. The number 1 team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes, faced a good 3-1 Minnesota team coming off a great comeback win against Rutgers. After a promising drive that ended in a field goal, the Buckeyes defense shut them down and they never scored again. Julian Sain launched multiple deep balls to Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith as the Buckeyes dominated the Golden Gophers 42-3.
Another great win for the Buckeyes. Let's head to the Swamp to talk about yet another upset. The top quarterback recruits from the 2024 and 2023 class faced off in a thriller game. The Florida Gators held off the Texas rally late in the game with Arch Manning throwing his second interception of the game. DJ Lagway led the way for the Gators with 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Texas Longhorns have completely dropped to the AP poll completely, leaving the preseason number 1 and number 2 out of the poll entirely.
Now let's talk about this week's slate. The Ohio State Buckeyes will head to Champaign, Illinois to face the Fighting Illini. This will be a ranked matchup, and both teams will be fighting for the Illibug Trophy. Illinois is coming off a 16-point victory over Purdue after being thrashed by Indiana, losing by 53. The Buckeyes will be coming off one of their best performances of the season against Minnesota.
Great stuff, Tyson. Another big ranked matchup this week is number 7 Indiana will travel to Eugene to face number 3 Oregon. The Ducks are coming off a bye after beating Penn State on the road. Heisman frontrunner Dante Moore will look to continue his streak of great performances as he goes up against undefeated Indiana and Fernando Mendoza, another Heisman contender. Both quarterbacks have played great to start the season, and I'm super excited to see this matchup. If you want to watch this game, make sure you turn into CBS Network at 3:30.
Lots of big ranked games this week, as that will wrap up our overtime segment. Thank you for watching, and now let's send it back to Ian.
Great stuff, Tyson and Jack. To wrap up this episode, let's send it back to Alex for our first edition of Ohio Sports Roundup.
Ian, the Cleveland Browns looked impressive in London last week. Rookie QB Dylan Gabriel made his debut, passing for 190 yards and 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately, the Browns ultimately fell short to the Vikings, 21-17. This weekend, they face division rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers. That game will be at 1 o'clock on CBS. The Cincinnati Bengals extended their losing streak to 3 games after losing to the Lions 37-24. The loss resulted in the Bengals benching QB Jake Browning and trading for veteran QB Joe Flacco. This Sunday, they face the Green Bay Packers at 4:25 on CBS. The undefeated Ohio State Buckeyes beat the Minnesota Golden Gophers behind 183 receiving yards from Carnell Tate. This weekend, the Buckeyes will face Illinois on the road. It will be their first ranked game since defeating Texas in Week 1. That game will start at noon on Fox. Last week, both the Cincinnati Reds and Cleveland Guardians lost in the wildcard round to the LA Dodgers and the Detroit Tigers, respectively. Also last weekend, the Crew tied with Orlando City, and Cincinnati FC beat the New York Red Bulls. Finally, the Blue Jackets kicked off their season last night in Nashville, where they fell short to the Predators 2-1. They look forward to taking on the Minnesota Wild on Saturday, and then their home opener Monday against the New Jersey Devils.
Thanks again, Alex, and thank you everyone for tuning into episode 2 of season 2 of DBSN Overtime. We will not be back next week or the week after due to shortened school weeks, but be sure to tune back in for episode 3. For DBSN, this has been Ian Miller.